speed kills. And today we're going to dive into 5 exercises to help you kill your opponent. Alright guys, so the first tip might shock you guys a bit, but the way you get faster hands is by throwing faster punches. I'll never forget when I asked my coach how to do more pull-ups when I was a kid. He looked at me and he said, do more pull-ups. I've just about applied that logic to everything I do in life now. So when it comes to throwing faster hands, what you want to do is throw your punches faster. It's a very simple exercise you want to do. So basically what you do is, when you shadowbox, when you hit the heavy bag, or even when you're sparring, what you want to do is take stock of what you're doing. Make sure you pay attention. Everything we do in a fight, or in training rather, becomes a habit in the fight, right? Because once you're in a fight, everything is autopilot. So what you want to do in training is teach your body to move a certain way. And what a lot of people do is they have mediocre training sessions, which leads to mediocre results in the fight, and leads to mediocre punches and the speed of those punches in the fight. So what a lot of guys do is when they shadowbox, they're just real relaxed, right? They're not really doing much. They're loosening up, they're throwing punches, but what they're doing is they're building those habits to throw bullshit punches. And what you want to do is not have any bullshit punches. What some guys do is they'll start throwing real fast, but then they'll notice themselves getting tired, so they slow down to be able to last through practice. But really, you're just lying to yourself. But what you're doing is you're not getting in good enough shape to be excellent for the entire 12 rounds or 5 rounds or whatever your competition fight is, what your competitive time is. So what you want to do is you want to focus on throwing to the best of your ability for the entire practice. You want to get into that shape to be excellent, right? If you're not excellent in training, there's no way you're going to be excellent and extraordinary in the fight. So what you want to do for this exercise, every time you throw a punch, go through a list of questions, right? So here I go, I'll throw a jab, ask myself, was that the fastest I could throw that jab? The answer is 100% going to be no. So throw a faster jab, right? And then you want to keep doing that, right? I could throw faster than that, right? And you just keep going. And you just keep asking yourself, was that the fastest I could throw my punches? Right? Do the same thing when you throw combinations. You're here. Was that the fastest I could throw that? Probably not. Throw it faster. Right? What I do with every student as soon as I get them, whether they have experience or don't have experience, what I tell them to do is give me a combination, right? I hold the pads for them, I go boom, boom. And I go throw it faster and harder than that. Boom, boom. And I go throw it faster and harder than that. Boom, boom. And I'll keep doing that until they reach their absolute peak. And then I tell them, stay there. Stay at your absolute excellence. Not only will that make your hands faster immediately, but it also will progress and tell your mind and your body to throw faster and to increase your hand speed, to develop those muscles that throw punches fast, right? No bullshit punches should be absolute law in your mind. You want to teach your brain and your body to throw to your full potential. Because if you don't, you're going to get mediocre results. And mediocre results lead to mediocre fights. And mediocre fights lead to losses. So again, with this drill, it's going to be very simple. All you're doing is basically throwing each punch to your full potential. Right? So if you're going to be throwing the combination, right? Ask yourself, can I throw it faster than that? Right? Again, let's go. Right? And each time, you're going to want to throw it faster and faster and faster. I always say the difference between come and go champions and the greatest of all time is that they're able to be excellent for the entire 12 rounds. I say this in just about every single video, and it's because it's the truth, right? What separates the greats from the pack is that they're able to be extraordinary the entire time. And you're not going to be able to be extraordinary in the fight if you're not extraordinary in your training, right? Make sure you're constantly forcing yourself to be your absolute best. So that's habit for you. It's habit for you to be excellent. You want it to be habitual. You want it to be on autopilot, right? You don't want shit to be your autopilot. You want excellence to be your autopilot. The next tip is to shadowbox with gloves on. This is my absolute favorite exercise to increase hand speed. It's what I use every time I decide to bulk up and put on a little weight or do some weightlifting and I come back stiff and slow. I always start by shadowboxing with gloves on. This almost instantly increases my hand speed. It definitely increases my hand speed. When I take them off, my hands start flying a little better, and over the next few weeks, my hand speed increases drastically when I shadowbox with these on. But not only that, it can help you prepare for a fight much better, right? If you're fighting with 8-ounce gloves, shadowbox with 16-ounce gloves. what happens in the fight is you end up missing 50% or more of your punches, right? You're going to be missing most of the time in a real fight. And what you don't want to do is get used to fighting with no gloves on, or get used to always having something to hit, so that when you miss with the gloves on, you either lose your footing, or you mess up your form and get clocked on the way back, or your hand's speed is just drastically slowed down, right? You don't want to be in the position where the weight of the glove pulls you further than you want it to, and you're slow on the return, right? Because that's a perfect opportunity for your opponent to counter. So you want to shadow box with gloves on, and this will help you get used to throwing punches. It'll help show where you're at, right? And help you realize how fast your hands are actually going to be in the fight. And if we're talking street fights, once you take these bad boys off, your hands are going to be flying. In our gym, we had a lot of gym wars. So we would have other gyms from other cities come to our gym, and we would match guys up based on either weight class or experience, not only to see where we're at, but to give us somebody different to spar outside of the guys that were always sparring in our gym. And I remember one day I was matched up with this kid who was shadowboxing in the mirror, and as I was gloving up, wrapping my hands, getting ready to go, my boys were like, "Hey, check that guy out, man. He's pretty fast." And I was supposed to fight him next, so I'm looking at him, and he's doing a lot of this. Just a lot of short punches, a lot of shuffling. And I'm looking at him, man. I was like, yeah, he can't do that in the fight. I was like, don't worry about it. I got this. I was wrong. As soon as we got into the ring, we're going, the bell rings, I'm ready to kick his ass, and then all of a sudden, boom, my head gets knocked back. Except I don't see who did it. I never seen this guy's fist leave his chin. I get hit, and then I'm looking at this guy with a stance up. I get hit, and I'm looking at this guy with a stance up. I've never, up to that point, and since then, fought somebody that fast. I got lucky that this guy had a quirk that where he would have to set himself. He would play with his toe, and then he would have to set himself before he threw. I noticed that in the second round, and I was able to capitalize on it with better timing. If not for that, I was done for. This was the fastest guy I've ever fought. It was one of the few times I wasn't the faster guy in the ring, and it was very hard to deal with. Going home that day, I kind of analyzed how he trained. I remember him shadowboxing, and then I started analyzing other fast boxers, right? And I noticed Roy Jones, when he spars, he does a lot of this. He does this, right? Real short punches. And I realized why a lot of fast fighters do that. They won't strain their punches every time. Sometimes they'll just do a lot of this. And it's because it builds fast twitch muscles in your arms that allows you to explode out quicker and come back quicker, right? You may sacrifice range. You don't want to get in the habit of doing this, right? But you want to use this as a drill almost to increase your hand speed. Basically, take a round or two and just do short punches, right? It's contrary to everything that I always preach in terms of full extension and getting full range on your punches and building the right habits. But this will help you develop the right fast twitch muscles in your arm to help you throw faster punches and increase your hand speed. I did this for a period of 2 weeks, and it definitely helped me take my hand speed up a notch. So the next tip is going to be having some form of resistance when you're shadowboxing. Now, I'm personally not a fan of using things like dumbbells because they could teach you a lot of bad habits when you hold them. So I recommend either going to a body of water, a pool, an ocean, a lake, whatever is near you, and shadowboxing underwater, or use something pretty simple like a resistance band, right? It could be a basic resistance band that you could just wrap around your back and shadowbox with, right? Or you can grab one that's specifically made for boxing. We've seen Bernard Hopkins use that a lot in his training. And if just a typical resistance band is not enough for you, you can wrap it around a stationary object like a heavy bag or any stationary object in your gym or your home and use it for extra resistance. The further you step away, the more resistance it will provide. And once you take these bands off, after doing them for a couple rounds, you'll feel your hands flying almost immediately. That won't stay with you though. You want to do this consistently for a course of a few weeks, and you'll definitely see your hand speed increase. All right, so for this next drill, we're going to be using a heavy bag to work on increasing the speed of our combinations. This drill is going to be pretty simple. What we're going to do is we're going to try to make 2 punches sound like 1, right? We're going to get as close as humanly possible to making 2 punches sound like 1. Now what you want to do is work as hard as possible to focus on your speed. You don't want to sacrifice too much power. We're going to be swaying a little more towards speed. Normally when you hit the heavy bag, I want you to throw as hard and as fast as you can, full potential each time. But for this particular drill, sway a little bit more towards speed, but still don't sacrifice too much sting on your shots, right? So basically what you want to do, you want to get in front of the bag and you want to focus on maybe 1 or 2 max combinations per round. In this case, we're just going to go through multiple combinations just to show you how it looks. Right, so we're going to go, let's see, just the 1-2 for now, right? We're going to go, was that, and do the same mental evaluation. Ask yourself, was that as fast as I could throw it? Probably not, right? So, we'll try a little faster. Let's go again. Right, we could do a little faster than that. And each time, ask yourself if that was the fastest you could throw that punch, right? So next, maybe we want to try the right hand, left hook. We'll do much faster than that. Right, the next we want to do maybe some hooks to the body. Right, and you want to keep doing that with each combination, trying to increase the speed and decrease the amount of time there is between 2 punches. If you land that on your opponent, and if you're able to land that second punch before they have a chance to open their eyes, it's going to spell lights out for the night. A quick bonus tip for you guys is to improve your stamina. Improving your stamina will absolutely improve your speed. A lot of you guys aren't actually slow. You're either just trying to conserve energy and throwing weaker punches, or you don't have enough energy or stamina to sustain throwing fast punches throughout the fight, right? So the way you practice for that is you always throw to your full potential. You'll throw to your full potential and try to last the entire practice, the entire spar match doing that. If you can't, that's just a sign to you that you're not in good enough shape, right? So you don't want to lie to yourself by slowing your punches down and saying, I'm in great shape. No, you suck. You're in terrible shape. And what you want to do is keep practicing at your full potential and see what kind of shape you're actually in. And that's when you'll realize what level you're at and how much more cardio you need to be doing and how much more explosive you need to be in practice in order to be able to last a longer time being at a high level. Thank you guys for checking out the video. In the comment section below, let me know which one of these tips you're going to go out there and try first. And don't forget to check out the links in the description. I link out to a book called The Art of Sweet Science that dives in depth into everything boxing, both the physical and the mental aspects of it, as well as the discipline it takes to become a fighter, and a link to our website that has a ton of helpful content for you guys. I'm Sean with Brawl Brothers, and I'll brawl with you guys next time.